back on the floor out of Chicago 2016, and we are here with Scott Bourne.
Hey.
From Photofocus. So how are you doing today?
I'm still here.
You're still here, excellent.
Not dead yet. That's my new tagline.
Awesome, awesome. So you were from Photofocus. You originally were the creator and founder of this.
18 years ago.
So when you came up with that idea, what were you thinking? Did you think it was going to turn into what it is today?
Oh, no. When I started Photofocus, it was just because the internet was kind of new, and I thought it'd be a cool way to give some of the knowledge I have about photography to people. I never thought of it as a business.
Yeah.
And one day Adobe called and said, we'd like to buy an ad on your site. And I said, really? And, now we have about 30, 40 people involved, and, it's an international deal. And we have writers from England and Germany and US and Canada. And it's just really been a lot of fun.
It's a cool ride. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So with Photofocus, you were mentioning you're having a pretty cool party coming up in July.
Yes.
In Photoshop World.
If you're coming to Photoshop World in Las Vegas and you don't come to our party, you will be sad. Because we've rented the entire Pinball Hall of Fame museum.
Yep.
And if you walk in, no matter who you are, with a Photoshop World badge on, you can come in for free. We have free drinks, free pizza, and a bucket full of quarters you can use to play in the machines. We'll also be setting up modeling booths. We did that last year. We got a lot of great people on social media taking pictures. We had hundreds of people come through there. We expect it to be even bigger this year. It's all on us. There's no fee to get in.
Cool.
It might be a little bit more popular than the Photoshop World Party, which might make Scott Kilby mad. I'm sorry, Scott. You're my buddy. I'm sorry. We didn't mean to do it. But yeah, everybody's welcome. If you're at Photoshop World and you have a badge, you're in our party for free. And that information will be up on the photofocus.com site, as well as on my Twitter feed, Scott Bourne. If you want to come to the party, you're welcome. We're also doing 2 readers' breakfasts.
Awesome.
At the buffet. So.
Yeah, I was at the party last year, and it was a blast. Had Levi there doing his pictures and having some fun.
Levi set up a couple of photo booths.
Yep. So very cool. It was a good time. It was definitely a lot of fun. And if you're not going to Photoshop World, you should be going to Photoshop World. It's a great week of education.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna, like I say, we're gonna be there all week. We're gonna have several of our staff there. I think we're flying in 6 or 7 people.
Very cool. So you're going up. I'm going up to Alaska next week, but you're going up to Alaska, and this has been a project that you've been working on with Eagles. So tell me a little bit, and tell our viewers out there a little bit about what you've been doing with this in the past and what you're doing this year.
About every 2 or 3 years, I'm lucky enough to go with my friend Robert O'Toole, who is sponsored by Sigma. We go up to Alaska and we do personal projects, and we do a couple of workshops where we take people into what's called native corporation lands, not technically U.S. territory, because you can get closer to the eagles legally. And we go to a place really where there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eagles.
Yep.
And last time I went was 2010. I took my buddy Rich Harrington, my Photofocus partner, who lives in D.C., city boy. He was a little bit out of his element. We sat on a spit out in the water, and 200 eagles landed around us, and Rich, all like 6'5", 300 pounds of him, was trying to be dainty and walk around them. It was hilarious. But there were so many eagles, we were afraid we were going to step on them.
Yeah.
So I'm going back in March with Robert. We're running a couple of workshops there. I'm getting footage for a lot of different companies and testing out all the new cameras. I'll be taking the new Panasonic 1-400 up there to try it out. I have my new Canon 1DX Mark II to take up there. Working with the Canon 400DO Mark II, the new version, a whole bunch of different stuff we're going to be testing. We'll also be testing some high-speed motion cameras, the kind that they do the bullet shot through the Apple with. They're like 62,000 frames a second. They sound like a Gatling gun when they go off.
Yeah, it just captures it and you can just slow it way down.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, the eagle thing is funny because I'm in Arizona now and I lived in New Jersey before, and you'd see an eagle, it'd be very rare. You see one and people freak out about it, and I hear up there, I've been hearing a lot because I am going right after the show, and everyone's like, yeah, there's like 200 of them, and it's like, what? 200 like in one spot?
There's,
like, yeah.
There's actually several thousand in the bay that we're going to, and that's the reason we go there. And the reason they're there is that 100 years ago, there was a fish cannery there, and eagles learn, like all birds, to feed based on genetic imprinting, and so their ancestors went to that place to eat, so they go there. Now it's not there anymore, So the fishing fleet's there though.
Yeah.
So they wait for the fishing boats to start going out for fishing season, and then they disperse. They go out,
Gotcha.
2 with this boat, 2 with that boat, because they know there's going to be fish on the boat,
Bait and fish
and bait
and all that.
and then chum, and so they catch it.
It's a free meal.
Because they're scavengers.
Yeah, free meal.
So, but in the meantime, they all sit in this harbor waiting for that to happen, and it's just like, we have too many eagles in the shot. I mean, it's the only time I've ever said there are too many eagles in my shot. I need separation.
Yeah.
Shoo some of them away. We got too many eagles. It's just crazy.
Excellent, excellent. So you have a new book that you're working on, a new book project.
I am working on a new book. It's called 88 Secrets to Bird Photography.
There you go.
Because that's kind of what I do. It's about halfway done. I was hoping to get it out this summer. It might now start to be pushing to early fall because I've had so much other stuff going on. But it's going to be fun. I've got basically, you could be a raw beginner and take this book and learn how to do bird photography.
Excellent.
That's my goal. And if you're not a raw beginner, you still will pick up some stuff because I've done it in a way that it's 88 tips and it doesn't have to be read linearly.
Yeah.
You can pick any tip
And just jump to it.
and jump into it. So that's kind of my thing that I'm working on, trying to get done right now.
I mean, to pick your brain before the end of the week.
Yeah, glad to help.
Awesome. So that's coming out. When are you expecting it to come out?
I would say by no later than September 1st, fingers crossed.
Cool.
And we'll have, again, information about this at photofocus.com and on my Twitter feed at Scott Bourne, SCOTTBOURNE.
Cool. Now, what came first, photography or birding? Because a lot of
Definitely photography. I got onto birding about 20 years ago, and I started photography about 44 years ago.
Okay.
So
a lot of birders have become photographers now because they would just go up binoculars. And
Yeah.
now they're like, well, I can capture it. And you see them with these, again, huge lenses like you're taking up there.
if you're a birder, not necessarily a bird photographer,
Yeah.
you have a thing called a life list.
Yep.
And the life list is a list of all the birds you've seen during your life. And everybody has one bird they really want to get, you know. So eagles are typically on that list. And if you don't live in Alaska, that's where everybody goes to check that one
Check
off
it
the
off.
list. But I have a life list, and it's all full frame portraits of the birds. That's my life list. You know, it's.
Very cool.
I went back to school, became an ornithologist just because I really like them.
Yeah.
And, you know, Rick Salmon gave a speech here at Out of Chicago last night. He talked about being passionate about what you photograph.
Yep.
He said a woman was passionate about bulldozers, and he actually liked the pictures. He could see her passion. Well, anyone that follows me knows I love the birds, and I really enjoy them and care about them. So for me, this has become the work that I cherish the most, because I get to take pictures of these creatures, and hopefully someone sees one and thinks just for a second about maybe not running over one in the street or doing something that will destroy habitat.
Yeah.
I mean, the Venice rookery was destroyed by the BP oil spill, for instance, in Louisiana. We're going to lose at least a generation of brown pelicans because of it.
Terrible.
The kind of photography I do is geared towards trying to make people care about that.
Yeah.
I can't change people's mind, but if I can at least get them to care about it,
Sure.
then they'll come to some conclusion, hopefully, that will help protect the birds.
Sure. And the last comments you had kind of lead into my last question, which is what never fails to inspire you as a photographer?
Really, when it comes to, for me, wildlife in general, but specifically the ability of birds to thrive in a continuously more hostile environment.
Yeah.
Birds continue to somehow make do, and I'll just real quick little bird story. Everyone's heard of the avian flu.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, avian flu is a big deal if you're an avian, i.e. a bird. And if one bird at Bosque del Apache out of 100,000 snow geese, for instance, had the avian flu, the entire population would be dead in days.
Wow.
In days.
Yeah.
But nature always has a way. The coyotes sort of skirt that population when the birds land, and they can smell the one bird that's sick, and that bird will be a tick slower. They'll take that bird, feed their family, the disease doesn't jump species, ergo saving the other 100,000 birds.
Yeah.
I just love the way nature works everything out,
Balance.
which is why I get upset when people screw with nature. It's like nature's got a plan, let it do its thing.
Yep.
And so that's what's inspiring to me as a photographer. I get to document all this, and more importantly, I get to be in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go to a place in Alaska. I'm going to be surrounded by the Kenai Fjords National Park on one side, beautiful bays on the other, and all these spectacular eagles all around me. Who wouldn't want to do that? I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Yep, I definitely agree. So, well, thank you very much, Scott.
Well, thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. And one more time, where can they find you?
Photofocus.com and on Twitter at Scott Bourne, SCOTTBOURNE. And if you'd like to look at my bird work, it's at scottbourne.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you
Thanks.
guys soon for another interview.